He always believed I would stay, not because he treated me well, not because he appreciated me, not because he loved me the way I deserved, but because he believed I didn't know my worth. He believed I was scared to be alone. He believed I was so attached I would tolerate anything: gaslighting, blame, manipulation, silent treatment, broken promises. He thought I would swallow everything quietly and keep the relationship alive alone. And maybe I did, for a long time. But here's the part he never saw coming. I left quietly, calmly, without shouting, without threatening, without breaking down. Just a soft, steady exit that shook his world in a way my tears never could. My name is Hira, and this is the story of the man who thought I'd never walk away. Until the day I did. And the silence I left behind became louder than every argument we ever had. Before I tell you how his world collapsed without me, how every lie he built fell apart, and how the same man who once mocked my feelings begged for another chance. Tell me where you're watching from and what time it is, because what you're about to hear isn't just heartbreak. It's a lesson that changed my entire life. When I met Rayan, he wasn't a villain. He wasn't cruel. He wasn't manipulative. He was everything a lonely heart dreams of: attentive, gentle, warm, interested. He made me feel like I mattered. Late-night conversations, good morning messages, unexpected calls, thoughtful compliments. For the first time in years, someone saw me, or at least that's what I thought, because slowly, so slowly, I didn't even notice at first. Everything began to shift. The man who used to ask, "How was your day?" started saying, "Why are you always stressed?" The man who used to say, "I love how emotional you are," started saying, "You're too sensitive." The man who used to text me instantly started replying hours later with excuses that felt rehearsed. I blamed myself. Maybe I expected too much. Maybe I was overthinking. Maybe he was just tired. But then came the dismissals. Whenever I expressed hurt, he said, "You're exaggerating. You misunderstood. You're imagining things. You're acting dramatic. You're making problems out of nothing." It wasn't the words that broke me. It was the confidence with which he said them. Like my feelings were invalid. Like my pain was imaginary, like he was always right and I was always wrong. And the saddest part? I believed him. For months, I believed everything was my fault, until the pattern became impossible to ignore. He never apologized. He never acknowledged my hurt. He never took responsibility. And whenever I threatened to leave, he laughed. "You're not going anywhere. You're too emotional to be alone. You need me more than I need you." He didn't say it cruelly. He said it casually, confidently, like it was a fact, like my heart was a cage and he held the key. But what he didn't know was that the same woman he broke slowly was also learning silently, learning his patterns, learning her worth, learning how to walk away, quietly. The turning point wasn't loud, it wasn't dramatic, it wasn't him cheating or yelling or being cruel enough to shock me. It was something far smaller, but infinitely more painful. One evening, I arrived at his apartment with his favorite food, a small gesture I did often just to make him smile. He opened the door, looked annoyed, and said, "I told you not to come without asking." My heart sank. But I stayed calm. "I just wanted to surprise you." He rolled his eyes. "Hira, stop these childish things. You're suffocating." Suffocating. The girl who cooked for him, supported him, listened to him through every breakdown, was suddenly too much. I stayed silent, put the food on the table, tried to change the subject. But then his phone buzzed, a message from someone named Nimra. Before I could even react, he snatched the phone as if I were a criminal. I stepped back. "Who is that?" He didn't answer, didn't blink, didn't move, just said, "Not everything is your business." My chest tightened. Something inside me finally, quietly, broke. Not because he was talking to someone else, but because of the way he made me feel like an outsider in a relationship I built with my whole heart. I went home in silence. No crying, no messages, no calls, just silence. And that silence became the beginning of my freedom. The next day I checked the reflection of my face, and for the first time ever, I didn't see sadness. I saw clarity. He didn't deserve my reaction. He didn't deserve my anger. He didn't deserve a dramatic exit. He deserved the one thing he never expected from me: a calm goodbye. For 3 years, I chased closure. But the day I realized he didn't value me, I stopped chasing. Completely. I didn't scream, didn't block him, didn't argue. I simply went silent. No, we need to talk. No final long message. No emotional paragraphs, just distance. And the funny thing about manipulators is this: they don't panic when you cry. They panic when you go silent. The first day he didn't notice. The second day he texted, "You okay?" No reply. The third day he called, "Are you angry again? Come on, don't be dramatic." I didn't answer. The fourth day he came to my house. My mother told him I didn't want to see him. He was shocked, confused, shaken, because for the first time the control wasn't in his hands. He messaged again, "Hira, stop this. Let's talk." Still no reply. By the fifth day, the messages turned emotional. "I miss you. I'm sorry if I hurt you. You know I love you. Let's fix this." I didn't respond. By the next week, the messages turned desperate. "Please don't leave. I can't lose you. I'll do better. Tell me what you want. I'm scared." Still no response. Because my silence wasn't a punishment. It was closure. He thought I'd never leave. He thought I was dependent. He thought I needed him. But the truth was simple. I wasn't leaving him. I was leaving the version of myself who tolerated him. And when a woman leaves silently, she never returns. My revenge wasn't loud. It wasn't messy. It wasn't about hurting him. It was about healing myself in a way that made his existence irrelevant. I started with myself. Long walks, journaling, therapy, prayer, self-respect, healthier boundaries, learning to say no, building emotional strength. I started meeting better people, people who respected time, valued communication, and treated me gently. I began focusing on my work, my goals, my growth. My face changed, my voice changed, my energy changed. People at work noticed, friends noticed. Even my mother said, "You look lighter," because I was. I wasn't carrying anyone who didn't want to walk with me. Weeks passed, then months, and during those months, his world slowly fell apart. Nimra? She blocked him. He chased her, but she wasn't interested in being his backup. His job got stressful, his friendships reduced, his mental state dipped, and the person he once mocked for being too emotional was now the only person he wanted comfort from. But I was long gone, not physically, emotionally. And that is a kind of revenge no one sees coming. It happened by accident. One evening, after months of distance, I walked into a cafe with my friends, laughing, confident, calm, and there he was, sitting alone at a corner table, staring at his coffee like it had all the answers he couldn't find. He saw me, froze, stood up instantly. "Hira?" I nodded politely. Just polite. Nothing more. He stared at me like he was seeing a completely different person. "You look happy," I smiled, a real smile, not the forced one I used to wear for him. I am. He swallowed hard. Can we talk? For what? I asked softly. He hesitated. I made mistakes. I shouldn't have pushed you away. I messed up. I didn't think you'd actually leave. There it was, the truth. He didn't think I'd leave. He didn't think I had the strength. He didn't think I'd ever choose myself. I replied gently. You didn't lose me, Rayan. You lost the version of me that tolerated things she shouldn't have. He looked broken. Hira, please, give me one more chance. I shook my head. I already gave you hundreds. Silence. Painful, heavy silence. I picked up my bag and walked away. No anger, no revenge, just peace. And that peace hurt him more than any harsh words ever could. After that day, he texted for weeks. Long paragraphs, promises, apologies, regret. I didn't block him. I didn't reply. I didn't engage, not because I hated him, but because I had outgrown him. Sometimes, the most powerful closure is understanding that someone simply doesn't fit your future anymore. He finally stopped messaging, and that day, I realized something. He wasn't hurting because he lost me. He was hurting because the control he thought he had was never real. My calm exit broke the illusion he built for himself, and sometimes that's the best revenge. Not leaving loudly, but leaving with dignity. Not all revenge requires noise. Not all endings require chaos. Not all strength requires shouting. Sometimes strength is walking away without explaining yourself. Sometimes revenge is choosing your peace over their chaos. Sometimes justice is letting someone face themselves without you saving them again. If someone treats you like you won't leave, show them you can. Not for them, for yourself. Because the strongest people aren't the ones who fight the loudest. They're the ones who choose themselves the moment they realize they've been choosing the wrong person for too long.